Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Titanfall 2. What we're going to be doing today is actually covering the Titanfall 2 multiplayer tech test, where I think the Titanfall franchise is going to be going in the future, and covering some news and information in regards to Titanfall 2 that you guys may not have actually heard about so far. So if that sounds interesting to you, then sit back and relax because I think it's going to be a fun video. Let's start things off here with the multiplayer tech test. This actually just ended last night. It actually ended while I was playing, and I was very sad to see it go because I had just unlocked the massive shotgun, which is what you guys are seeing in the gameplay right now. And this thing is an absolute monster, borderline overpowered if I'm being perfectly honest. And 3 or 4 games into using this thing, I got thrown back to the main menu, and I get this that pops up on my screen. Thank you for helping us test in the multiplayer tech test. The test is now complete. Come back on October 28th for the full game launch. And just like that, Titanfall 2 was ripped away from me, and I was having so much fun. And I was sad to see it go. I'm really sad to see it go because I want to play more, and now we're gonna have to wait 2 months to be able to play Titanfall 2. But overall, I feel as though that the tech test was a success. The reason why they did the tech test in the first place was to make sure that their servers could handle a big influx of players, right? They were doing these happy hour things where they're trying to encourage everybody being online at the exact same time so that they could really try to stress out their servers. I hope that they got enough data and enough information so that when this game actually releases on October 28th, that we're going to have a completely smooth online experience, right? It's not going to be laggy. We're not going to, be stressing out the servers or anything like that. I hope that, from a tech standpoint, that they were able to actually get all the information that they needed. Another big part, of course, of the tech test is the fact that it's basically a demo for the game, and that community feedback was going to be a very big deal. As much as people tried telling me that community feedback wasn't a big deal, like I kept getting so many people telling me in the comments of my Titanfall 2 videos, it's only an alpha, stop criticizing a game, it's only an alpha. It's like, that's not how this stuff works, you guys. It makes literally no sense whatsoever. You, of course, need to give criticism to a game like this, especially one that you're going to be paying money for, because you want the game to be as good as possible. And of course, they were actually able to change their game based upon community feedback. Like, can you imagine if people listened to the naysayers who said, no criticism allowed here, it's a pre-alpha? What people would have actually listened to that? Because when we first got the tech test, it was very slow, right? The movement speed was actually a lot slower than it was previously in the original Titanfall, and that was actually deliberate. If you guys didn't hear, Respawn Entertainment, the people that of course make Titanfall, they internally thought to themselves, Titanfall 1, the original game, was a little bit too fast-paced, a little bit too hectic. There were so many things going on all at once, and they felt as though that was turning off people from trying to want to play the game. And that is not necessarily true, I would say. I think the reason why people got turned off was because there was nothing to do in Titanfall 1 after you played it for a couple of weeks. But yeah, so they intentionally slowed down Titanfall 2. That was the big thing. They intentionally slowed it down because they thought it was too fast-paced. And then as soon as we got the tech test, the first feedback, like right away, people started saying, this is slow. Like, what's with the movement system? Like, we're moving a lot slower than we did previously. What's with the Titans? How come we're not earning these things anymore? What is this new bounty hunt game mode? Where is attrition? And how come bounty hunt always goes to the time limit rather than the score limit? They saw all this feedback and all this criticism, and they changed their game based on that, which is fantastic. That's why I'm excited for the Battlefield 1 beta, which is going to be coming out tomorrow if you guys are an insider, or 2 days from now if you guys are just somebody who is not a Battlefield insider. And then, of course, after COD XP, I imagine we're going to be getting a beta for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. It's a great thing to have betas for games these days for a number of reasons. A big reason, of course, is to do a tech test, make sure your servers can actually handle an influx of players. That's always a big important thing, right? We want to have a smooth experience on launch day. But another big thing is actually getting fan feedback and actually having the community test out your game. Make sure that there are no glitches with any of the weapons or on any of the maps. Make sure that we can give feedback on the weapons and the maps and other things like Titans or extra game modes or what have you, to make sure that the game is as good as it can possibly be on launch day. Like, just imagine if they didn't have this tech test on launch day of Titanfall 2, people would have been hit with this, wow, this game is really slow compared to the original, and wow, I don't get any Titans in this game even though it's called Titanfall, and that would have been a pretty disastrous launch, honestly. But they were able to avoid all that because they had a tech test and they got community feedback. That is the best part about this, and that is why I think we've seen so many betas in the past. Like, over the past couple of years, we definitely see a lot more demos or tech tests or betas or alphas or whatever it is you want to call them, right? But they all mean the same thing. We're seeing an increase in those, and that's a fantastic thing, because what that means is we're going to have better games, more polished games, when they actually make their full release. So I thought the tech test was a wild success. I was just honestly sad to see it go. One of the big criticisms I had of the tech test, and this was definitely a valid criticism, but I've learned more since then, was that there was a lack of stuff to do in the tech test, which was worrisome. Because if the original Titanfall was any indicator, right, because the original Titanfall had a beta, and in that beta, there was a very limited number of weapons and a very limited number of Titans. And everybody thought to themselves, back in 2014 when that beta was happening, oh, well, this is just a beta. They're going to have a lot more weapons and a lot more Titans when the full game comes out, right? It turns out that wasn't true whatsoever. So when we saw the limited number of weapons and Titans in the Titanfall 2 beta, if you want to call it that, we were worried, myself included, we were worried that it was going to be a repeat. History was going to repeat itself from the original Titanfall, and we were going to have a lack of weapons in the game. It's actually been brought to my attention that there are going to be a wide number of weapons and Titans in Titanfall 2, but it is not something that they are necessarily advertising. So you guys have all seen the Titanfall 2 multiplayer trailer. Everybody's seen that. But there's actually an extended version of that trailer, which I'll link down there in the video description, where you get to see in the kill feed, as well as the person on screen using, a lot of weapons from the original Titanfall that we haven't seen so far, like the EVA-8 shotgun is going to be making a return, the Hemlock assault rifle is going to be making a return, satchels are going to be making a return, the Archer anti-Titan weapon is going to be coming back. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be in Titanfall 2 that we did not actually get to see in the tech test. They've also leaked, well, it has been leaked, it's been since removed, that there are going to be 6 total Titans in Titanfall 2, which is fantastic. That's double what we had in the original Titanfall, so there is going to be a lot of stuff in Titanfall 2, which was the biggest problem with the original, so that's awesome. I just wish they were advertising that more. Like, as somebody who is actively seeking a Titanfall 2 news and information for my YouTube channel here, even I can't find this stuff. They're not really advertising it a whole lot, and that is something I've definitely criticized Respawn for in the past, is they don't seem to be very good at advertising. If I were them, I'd be hyping this thing up, man, because they really need to. If they're going to continue on with their release schedule of putting this game out right after Battlefield 1 and right before Infinite Warfare, this game needs to have a hype train behind it, right? And if I were them, I'd be like, from Respawn Entertainment, the people that have made Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2, comes Titanfall 2, the sequel to Titanfall. Double the Titans, double the weapons, double the maps and game modes and all this stuff like that. I'd be really hyping up the fact that this game is going to be just way over the top and have a lot more stuff to do in it than the original Titanfall did. Single player campaign, I'd be driving that home. Like, they aren't really advertising a whole lot, and the best way for them to do that, honestly, is make a bunch of trailers, because they're going to have people like me advertising those trailers on my YouTube channel. And I know I'm not the only person that makes Titanfall 2 videos on YouTube, right? So me and everybody else that is excited for Titanfall 2 is going to be making videos on this, assuming, of course, they actually start putting out trailers and stuff like that. So I think that they should definitely be doing that in the coming months leading up until the full release of the game. There needs to be some more hype behind this game, because it looks to be fantastic. Again, the tech test was a lot of fun. There's a lot of weapons and a lot of equipment and a lot of pilot stuff and a lot of Titan stuff that we did not get to see in the tech test that is waiting for us in the full version of the game, and I'm excited for that. Overall, I'm really hyped for this game. I cannot wait to play it some more, but I still stand by my video that I made a couple of days ago, and if you guys didn't catch it, I'll put an annotation on your screen, which you can click, and that will open it up for you in a brand new tab, or click the link to it down there in the video description if you guys are on mobile. I still feel as though Titanfall 2 should be delayed. Again, it looks to be a very fun game. I think it's going to be better than the original Titanfall, but I still don't think that they can compete with Battlefield 1 and Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered. Like, EA is just putting this game out to die. Like, if you look at the upcoming video game release schedule, especially for shooter games, like, it is just so oversaturated. You got Gears of War 4, you got Destiny Rise of Iron, you have Battlefield 1, Infinite Warfare, Modern Warfare Remastered, and then in between all of that is Titanfall 2. What they should do, in my opinion anyway, is delay it until March, which, if you guys don't remember, the original Titanfall released in March. Put it out then, And at that point in the year, it's not going to have as much competition and will probably sell a lot better as a result. That's just my opinion. And if you guys want me to go into more detail, feel free to click the annotation once again on your screen or click the link to that video down there in the video description. But overall, I'm very excited for Titanfall 2. I'm excited to learn that there's going to be a lot more weapons, a lot more Titans than I thought previously. I'm excited to play the game because it was a lot of fun. I just hope that it gets a good reception, that it gets a lot of press, as a lot of people covering it. I'm going to do my best to cover Titanfall 2 the best I can when it makes its full launch and leading up until its launch, because I want this game to be successful. But I just hope that it doesn't get buried by juggernauts like Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Let me know down there in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on Titanfall 2's multiplayer tech test now that it is completely finished? Did you guys enjoy it? I've read a lot of very contrasting and interesting opinions on Titanfall 2 in my recent videos. I saw one person actually say that they're not excited for Titanfall 2 because when they got the Black Ops 3 beta, they literally could not stop playing. But when they got the Titanfall 2 tech test, they couldn't convince themselves to play after playing it for 5 hours, right? So that's definitely an interesting opinion. Whereas other people say they've done nothing the past couple of weekends besides play the Titanfall 2 tech test because they think it's really that good. So let me know down there in the comments, what did you guys think of the Titanfall 2 tech test, and how do you guys think that Titanfall 2 is going to compare to Battlefield 1 and Infinite Warfare this year? I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Drop me a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.